Hey y'all, it's your favorite doctor, Dr. K. And I'm coming to tell you all what Hoodrat Scholarship is because I'm pretty sure if you don't know me personally or you haven't been following my journey for the past 5 years, you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go over it real quick for you all. So, first things first, Hoodrat Scholarship is my shit. It's mine. I own it. It is a think tank. It's a labor of love. It is an ecosystem of knowledge. It's about experiences, education, and creating an ecosystem of learning and dismantling the academy. It is a FUBU production, right? So it's for us, by us. And by us, I mean us, right? And it's really important for me to explain what it is because I want to make sure that people know that this is not just a merch brand, although we have merch, but this is much more than just a t-shirt and a hat. This is actually something that is for the community, and it is to provide things to the community that they may not have access to. So who am I? I'm Dr. K. Coghill. Yes, I'm a hot girl professor, abortion doula, auntie extraordinaire, and an aberratia. My pronouns are they, them, Beyonce. And I am the Beyonce of my life, and I believe that everyone else is the Beyonce of their life, minus the capitalism. My research focuses on online gender-based violence, hate speech. I look at digital misogynoir, which you will hear me talk a lot about if you follow me on any of my social media platforms or you are subscribed to my YouTube. I look at harm reduction tactics online. I look at Black digital popular culture. I'm really into ethical tech, so looking at AI and harm detection on socials in particular. So I'm really interested in how we are using the internet to not only harm people, but how it can be also used to protect people. So I look at everything from online gender-based violence to sexual violence in digital spaces and image-based violence like revenge porn and using undressing apps and AI to pretend that you are sexually assaulting someone. So all of those things are things that I currently research. And I also teach about those things as well in my classes. Some of the classes that I've created that have been rooted in hip hop Hoodrat Scholarship is hip hop feminism. I teach a class called #activism, and then I also created and teach a class called misogynoir in digital spaces. So Hoodrat Scholarship stemmed from a few theories, but the main ones being Black feminist thought, hip hop feminism, trap feminism, and digital hip hop feminist sensibility. All of these things informed my work. And I was looking at the cross between Black Twitter, digital violence, and healing through hip hop, poetry, and art. Because originally I was looking at Megan Thee Stallion's experience when she was shot by Tory Lanez and how she was able to use her social media presence, her performances, and her music to clap back, right? But on even deeper level, I was really interested in how the everyday user, more so Black women and femmes, were experiencing online harassment and digital misogynoir. So I wanted to look at their social media presence, like how they show up in these spaces. I was interested in the misogynoir that was happening online. And then I was also interested in how they were creating harm reduction, right? Because a lot of times we can report stuff and we can block and mute and all types of things. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the technology really gives a fuck about us being harassed, right? So I was interested in seeing in what ways are Black women and femme using the internet and subverting the technology to protect themselves and others. I was inspired by the Not Tonight Lil Kim song remix with Angie Martinez, Left Eye. It had Missy Elliott on it, the Brat, and Mary J. Blige was in the music video, along with a host of other Black women and actresses and journalists and artists in the hip hop scene. And from there, I realized at a very young age that I was a girl's girl. Like, I was very serious about showing up for Black women. So, hip hop has really played a big role in Hoodrat Scholarship. It is rooted in friendship, fly fit, so getting them looks off, women who can spit. And that doesn't just mean rap. Like, can you talk your shit about what you know, whether it is academic or not? I want to hear you talk your shit. Fugitivity, right? So this idea of pushing against these hegemonic and anti-Black and misogynistic values that say that I shouldn't be in this space. Pleasure politics, right? So prioritizing freak feminism, which is a feminism that I have created, and really thinking about how my pleasure and the pleasure of those in my community are of the utmost importance. Also centering assertiveness, right? I think that being an assertive Black woman can be seen as the stereotype of the sapphire or the quote unquote angry Black woman or hard to deal with, but I think assertive Black women are the best. I think that having a voice is important, and I think that there needs to be space for Black women and femmes to be able to be assertive. And then the last thing is intersectionality, and really looking at how my Blackness and my womanness and my queerness plays a role in how I show up for my community and how I make sure they have access to things. Dr. Carolyn M. West talked about the psychological sequelae. I'm probably saying that wrong. And it was really interesting because she was talking about how Black women who experience harm will experience things like chronic illnesses, depression, injury, personality changes, mania, psychosis, cognitive impairments, and so much more. And she really focused a lot in one of her chapter on how blues women during the blues era of that genre were often severely abused and depressed, but they use their music to actively resist their victimization, right? So that really, like, when I read that about like 10 years ago, it really had me thinking about, like, if this is how the women during the blues times was dealing with these types of things like abuse and being depressed, how are we dealing with it now that we are experiencing the same type of abuse online? I was also extremely inspired by the works of Patricia Hill Collins, Kaisha Jennings, Gwendolyn D. Pugh, Moya Bailey, Cecily Bowen, and Joan Morgan. Their work really played a role in me really fleshing out what Hoodrat Scholarship was, because I know that the word Hoodrat can bring about a lot of emotions, but I think that by reclaiming the term Hoodrat and then putting it with the word scholarship, which you usually won't see it together, is really like pushing this narrative that we have to be one way in order to be academic. And I'm just not like that, right? Like, I'm tatted up, I cuss, I listen to trap music, I come from a very, very blackety black family. So I am very, very like in tune with who I am as a person, and I'm okay with Hoodrat Scholarship being a thing. So like I said, Hoodrat Scholarship is an ecosystem of knowledge. It is threefold: fugitivity, looking how we push against power structures, in particular the colonized white academic spaces; community, using what you know to get people free; and then experiences education, so teaching and learning from a place of subjugated knowledge. An example like the undercommons, which is the undercommons being the place where the knowledge is rooted and branches out. So these places like the barbershops and the beauty salons and the street corners where people are educating each other on what's happening in the world in language that makes sense to them and examples that make sense to them. Like, that is considered to me one of the highest forms of knowledge, is being able to talk about these things amongst the people in your community. So I got goals, big goals for Hoodrat Scholarship. I want to focus on outreach for the youth. I want to continue to create curriculum. All of my classes, for the most part, you will mainly be reading work by Black women and femmes. It is very rare that I have non-Black people and non-femmes on my work. Mutual aid, compassionate teaching, and archiving, which is something that I really love. As you can see, a few slides back, I had a lot of pictures of myself when I was young. I love archiving the Black everyday life, and I want to teach other people how to do the same. So this is Hoodrat Scholarship, and I'm hoping that you all will stay along for this journey. And I also hope that you will be able to see yourself in Hoodrat Scholarship, because we are all hood scholars in my mind. And I just want to know, are you ready to learn you something?